press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello all, how are you? I hope that all are doing good. So today I am here with you with the new poem. The name of the poem is On Killing a Tree. On Killing a Tree, this poem was written by Giv Patel. Okay? So Giv Patel, he was born in the year 1940 in Mumbai. So he is an Indian playwright, a poet, Indian playwright and poet, and also one of the practicing a physician in Mumbai, and also a painter. He is a painter and he is passionate about crusades and protecting greenery and conservation of the forest of the earth. Okay, so this is about poet. So this poet is thinking about the nature, environment to protect, okay, to conserve it. So it is one of a grave irony. This poem is called as one of a grave irony. It means it is a serious poem. So it tells about one of the important issue, important a problem in on the earth. Okay. So what it is? That is cutting of forest, trees, which leads to deforestation. Okay. So this is the one of the theme of the poem. Okay. On killing a tree. It means that when a person, when he cuts the tree, so are the trees are going to die, or they will be remain as a dead, or still they have the life. Okay, so we are going to discuss about in this poem related to, is this a tree, when the person is going to kill the tree, so that means when they cut it, so seriously they will kill the tree, is it? So they will be, the trees are going to dead or not. So let's see in this poem. Okay, so let's begin with this poem, and I just read the poem first. It takes much time to kill a tree, not a simple jab of the knife will do it. It has grown slowly, consuming the earth, rising out of it, feeding upon its crust, absorbing years of sunlight, air, water, and out of its leprous hide, sprouting leaves. So hack and chop, but this alone won't do it. Not so much pain will do it, the bleeding bark will heal. And from close to the ground will rise curled green twigs, miniature boughs, which if unchecked will expand again to former size. No, the root is to be pulled out of the anchoring earth. It is to be roped, tied, and pulled out, snapped out, or pulled out entirely, out from the earth cave, and the strength of the tree exposed, the source wide and wet, the most sensitive hidden for years inside the earth. Then the matter of scorching and choking in sun and air, browning, hardening, twisting, withering, and then it is done. Okay, so this is the poem. So let's see about the first stanza, what poet tried to tell us. Okay, it takes much time to kill a tree. Yes, it is true. When a person it cuts the tree, so he is going to cut the tree. So the tree takes a lot of time, so many years to grow up in that much of size, which is in a bigger in size. Okay, so it takes so many years to cut a tree by the man. Not a simple jab of knife. Jab means hit. When a person hit a knife to any equipment, okay, any instrument which they were used. So when they used any instrument or tool to cut a tree, so what they do? So will do it. It has grown slowly, consuming the earth. So how it has grown it? It is growing it slowly. It is not growing it rapidly. Okay. So when we are planting a plant, when we plant it, so it takes so many years to grow up in a bigger in size. Okay, that tree is to become. So here it says here, the poet is saying here that it takes a lot of years, so many years. It takes so many things it is consuming it. So then it becomes in a growing in size, okay. So it is in a bigger in size. So then we may call it as a tree, not a plant. Rising out of it, feeding upon its crust, absorbing. Rising means when it growing. So what it takes when a tree is growing, it takes what? That is feeding. Feeding means it takes all the source which it needs from the earth. That is minerals, nutrients which it takes from the earth, okay. Then upon its crust, absorbing years of sunlight, air and water. So under the earth, it takes lot of mineral, okay. So inside the earth, it takes a lot of minerals and nutrients. So then it becomes a bigger in size, then it takes in the form of growing. So when it outer part of the earth, so what it absorbs? It absorbs, that is sunlight, is it? So each and every plant when it growing means, so it means that it takes a sunlight. Then air, it took a air. Then water, okay. So it is a upper part of the consuming of the thing, sources, okay, for a tree. So when a tree is becoming a grown up, okay, so it takes so many years to growing, and also it consumed nutrients and minerals from inside the earth, and even outer part of the earth, that is the crust of the earth. Upon the crust here means the outer part of the earth, what it consumed? It has consumed sunlight, air and water, okay. Then and out of its leprous hide, sprouting leaves. When a person has cut the tree, so yeah, it takes so many years to growing in this kind of a tree, okay. So after cutting it also, the trees are never going to be died, okay. So because it has having a leprous skin, okay. Here the poet used the word called leprous hide. Leprous hide means it is a disease. Hide means skin. Leprous means it is a disease called leprosy. So your poet is comparing this disease to this tree, the skin of the tree, that is the trunk, okay. Then sprouting leaves from that outer part of the that skin of the tree. So there is a leaves are sprouting, a small leaves are growing, okay. So it means it takes a birth, another leaves are taking a birth. So here is the picture here, okay. So I am just giving a image of a tree, okay. So this layers are like, so which is in a brown in color when you look into the tree. So it is like a leprous hide. It looking like a leprous hide means, so it is not with the disease, means it is having that kind of a skin, okay, what the humans are having during the time of leprosy disease. So in that it has some wrinkles, some have skin which is in a leprosy disease, which is look like, okay, but actually it is not a leprosy disease it is suffering with, okay. So in that, so there are small leaves are sprouting out, okay. So you can see the image of this tree has cut, okay. Humans are cut this tree. So when it has cut it, then so here there is a small leaves are growing, okay. There is a small leaves are growing, that is called sprouting leaves. So in this first stanza, what we come to know about, poet is saying here that, so when we cut a tree, okay, it is not dying. So still there is a life in the tree, because it takes us so many years to grow, okay. It absorbs the minerals and nutrients from inside the earth, and it has consumed the air, fresh air, water and also sunlight. So it takes so many years to become a grow, but it has never died. In this condition it has never died, okay. So there are small leaves are sprouting out, there are small leaves are growing. Then let's move to the second stanza. So hack and chop, but this alone won't do it. Not so much pain will do it, okay. Here the poet says here, hack and chop. Hack and chop means when you are chopping, so you know that what we are chopping the vegetables or the meat, okay. So if you chop the trees like that, So what will happen? It will be not alone, okay? It not alone, and not so much of pain will do it. So the tree is not having much pain, okay? Although the bleeding bark will heal. Bleeding bark will heal means, bleeding means here poet is comparing bleeding to the human bleeding, but there is a sap. When the humans are cut the tree, so there is a small, there is a kind of a liquid that is called sap which is coming out from the tree. So that it is comparing here to the, that is called blood, that is bleeding bark, okay. So there is some sap is coming out which is in a liquidy form. So that is comparing here to the bleeding, okay. So bleeding bark will heal. So when there is a sap is coming out, it means that the tree is healing in its wound, okay. So it is, why it is bleeding? Because someone has cut the tree. So if you are comparing to humans, okay, why? Because they are having a life and they are having a blood in their nerves. So when you cut something, so what will happen? The blood will come out. It is bleeding, okay. So when it is bleeding, it means that the wound is healing. Yes, it is a pain. It is pain in our body, in human's body. But actually, so after some times it heals it, okay. So when we compare to tree, so there is a sap which is coming out from the tree. So which is cut, it is cutted. It is in the tree which has already been cut. So from that, the sap is coming out. It means that it's bleeding. So when it's bleeding, it means that it is healing, okay. Although it is in pain, but it is healing it wound, okay. Then from close to the ground will rise curled green twigs. So near the ground there is a small plants. Twigs means leaves, branches which is coming out, okay, which is in a curled shape, okay, curled shape. So which is coming out. Miniature bulbs which if unchecked will expand again to former size, okay. Miniatures bulbs means small branches. Here miniature bulbs means it is a small branches which is growing in that tree, okay. So already this tree has been cut. So in that the small trees, the small branches, and there is a small leaves, it is growing, okay. The sprouting out. So it takes a expanded form, okay. So after some years it becomes a bigger. Yes, the tree is become a bigger. So why it is become a bigger? So now you can ask the question. This tree has already been cut, okay. But why where is the life? Okay, already there is some part has been cut. Then where is the life? Okay. So can you tell me that? So where you get the life? The life is inside the earth, which is roots, okay. So that is the roots, okay. So because of this, the leaves are growing, okay. So we cannot call this tree is dead now. It has not dead, it has only cut it, okay. Then no, the root is to be pulled out of the anchoring earth. So here the poet says, no, in the first two stanza, poet is saying that, so if you cut the tree, so still there is a life in that tree, okay. So it takes so many years and it consumed nutrients and minerals and all those things, water, air and all, okay. And in second stanza also here it says there is a bleeding, so it is healing its pain, okay. So that's why it is a bleeding. So now it is giving a reason, okay. Now in the third stanza, poet is giving a reason. So why this is bleeding and why it is healing it, and why the leaves are sprouting out, okay. Because of the roots, okay. So here says because of this roots, the roots are anchoring to the earth. Anchoring means it is supported. It takes support from the earth. It holds its strength from the earth. So that's why it is not dead, okay, completely. So here says it is to be roped. So how you are going to kill the tree? So you should have to rope it. From the rope you have to tie the tree and pulled out. So from the root, when you tied this tree from a rope, so when you pulled out completely, so there is a strength here that is called anchor. Anchor is called support, or you may call strength, that is called anchor here. Okay, so when you pulled out, so what happened? Snapped out. Snapped out means chopped out. When you chopped out, when you pulled out, so what happened? Or pulled out entirely. So again and again you are trying hard to pull out this tree from the root. Okay, then out from the earth cave. Okay, earth cave means, so when the tree is forming, when it has connected to the earth, so these roots are make a cave, like a cavity. Okay, so it has formed its roots like a cavity. Okay, so from the earth it made a cave inside the earth. From there you have to pull it out, and the strength of the tree exposed. Now if you put your all the strength to pull out this tree, now the tree is going to be come out with the roots, that is called exposed. Exposed means it has came out. Okay, and the source white and wet. The source means this roots. So how it is? It is in a white in color. The roots are in a white in color and wet. Wet means it is in a wet, like a white. It is in a white and wet. Okay, because it is inside. So it is, there is a moisture in the roots. Okay, so it is a wet and white in color. We can see the roots when you pulled out. The most sensitive hidden for years inside the earth. So here the poet says this part, this root, it is one of the important part of a tree. Okay, which is live inside the earth, which has so many years it has lived inside the earth. Okay, it is one of the sensitive part of a tree, and which is hidden inside. Okay, which is hidden inside the earth. Okay, I think you may, I thought that you have understood this. Okay, with this paragraph. Now, through this poem, then the matter of scorching and choking in sun and air. So when you pulled out completely this tree from the roots, so when you exposed it, when you took it out from the earth, so what happened? So it is a scorching and choking. Choking means it becomes drying. So this tree is become drying now. Okay, how it is dying? How? So the poet is saying, he is giving an idea how one tree is going to be died. Okay, so how it is dying when you pulled out this root from completely from the earth. So it is drying. This whole tree it is drying. That is called scorching and choking in sun and air. So how it is drying? Because of the sun and air, it becomes drying. The tree is drying now. Okay, then browning and hardening, twisting and withering, and then it is done. Okay, browning means suddenly, like slowly it has changes its color. The tree is changing its color because of the sunlight, because of the air, so it becomes brown in. Okay, because it is sinking. Okay, it is sinking, it is shrink or sink you may call it as. So it is now, then it becomes hardening. So now the tree is not soft, it becomes harder. And twisting means it is bending. Okay, so when it is standing, this tree, it is a straight. Now when you pulled out this tree from the root, now it is drying and it is bending. Withering, it becomes helpless. Now it becomes helpless because the roots the tree has came out from the roots. Okay, so if you pulled out from the roots, then now it is done. Now it is died. Okay, so it means that the poet wants to say here, because of giving this idea how the tree is going to be killed. So because of in this process. Okay, so it means that don't cut the trees. Please conserve forest. Please conserve the trees. Okay, he is requesting to the people. A tree is going to be die. How it is dying? It should be die from the roots. Okay, so still it has also life. So why you are cutting trees? So why you are giving a pain? So it is also bleeding like a humans. Okay, so it is giving the opinion of his how to conserve a forest and the trees. Okay, so through this, it is one of the sensitive poem. Through this poem, the poet is wanted to convey his message to the reader, okay, to the people, that please conserve this forest and also trees. Don't cut the trees. Okay, so this one is the one of the message of this poem. Okay, I hope that you have understood this poem very well. Okay, so now let's move to the poetic devices. So let's see what are the techniques has used by this poem, that is Jiv Patel. Poetic devices, there is a no rhyme scheme in this poem. So here first is, there is no rhyme scheme. It is in a free verse. No rhyme scheme. So it has written in free verse. Okay. So this, it has written in free verse. So there is no rhyme scheme, it has written in free verse. So now is about enjambment. Okay, so let's see the first technique called enjambment. So in some of the lines there are no punctuations are used. Okay, so there is no punctuation used, it is called as enjambment. So lines is a continued to the next line. Okay, so one of the line which is continued to the next line. So there is no punctuation are used in that particular line. So that is called as an enjambment. So which lines are there here? So you can see the first paragraph, second line, not a simple jab of the knife. So in this paragraph, there is no punctuation, so it is continued in the next line. Okay, and this line is used, in this line, the technique used here, that is enjambment. Okay, the next is, and out of its leprous hide. In that same stanza, so there is a line called and out of its leprous hide. Leprous hide, in that sentence, that line, it is continued to the next line. Okay, then so hack and chop. So it is continued to the next line in the second stanza. The bleeding bark will heal. So this line and next line, and from close to the ground. These two lines are continued to the third line. Okay, so there is no punctuation are used in these two lines. Then miniature boughs, which if unchecked will expand again. So these two lines also, there is no punctuation. These two lines continue to the next line. And the root is to be pulled out. Okay. So there is a punctuation used here, and then next you can move to the and the strength of the tree exposed. So this line is continued to the next line. Of then the matter of scorching and choking. These two lines are continued to the next line. I hope that you have understood this. What is enjambment? Okay. So next is, shall we proceed to the next technique, that is metaphor. So what is this metaphor? Here there is an indirect comparison. Okay, the poet has used indirect comparison here. How it is comparing here? When it is comparing two things, and it is also used in a indirectly. So like bleeding bark. Okay, so it is a bleeding bark. It means actually the trees are not bleeding. It's not bleeding, but actually it compares to the human. Means there is a life in the trees. So these words are called as a metaphor. These words called, that is bleeding bark, is a metaphor. Then leprous hide. So the next is leprous hide. So this disease, leprous, that is leprosy. So it is a disease where it is for humans. Okay, so it is a skin disease. So here it is comparing, indirectly it is comparing to the humans, which means there is a life in the tree. Okay, so this is called as a metaphor. So let's move to the next technique called alliteration. So Next technique called alliteration. Alliteration, which is repetition of consonant sounds in the consecutive words. Okay, so here it is the repetition of consonant sound in a two consecutive words, like bleeding bark. Again, you take the example of the words called bleeding barks. So the word ba ba, the sound ba ba has used in these two, okay, two words. So this is called as a alliteration. And white wet. So here va sound has used, repetition of consonant sound. So this is the alliteration. So the last technique is repetition. So repetition of some of the words. Repetition. So what it is repeating here? That is the word called pulled out. So pulled out. So it has used so many times. Okay. So it has called as a. So this is here there is a technique has used that is called repetition. Okay. So this is about a poem. I hope that you have understood this poem. Okay, and if you have any doubts, you can write in comment box. You can use the comment box. Okay, so we can always in correcting to you to clarify your doubts according to the lessons, according to the poem and whatever it is. Okay, so here is the today's class. I hope that you have understood it. Okay, so once again I'm just glancing at all the things whatever I said. So this on killing a tree. So this poem is about to not cut the trees. Okay, do not cut the trees. So here poet is giving a message to the people. So if you want to cut the tree, so how it is? So how it would be the possible one? You are not killing a tree. How you are killing the tree? So you will kill the tree like this way. Okay, and it takes and it is consuming water, air and minerals and nutrients. It takes so many years to become growing, okay, in that size, and again it is growing when you cut the trees. If you want to kill the tree, so you should have to pull all the roots from the inside the earth, but actually you should not kill these trees. Okay, you should have to preserve it, you should have to conserve it. So this is the message wanted to give to the people. Okay, so this is the poem and the poet introduction and the poetic devices. I hope that you have understand this lesson and poem. Okay, and I hope that you are also trying to planting more and more trees. Okay, surrounding your locality and nearby your home. Okay, so this is the one of the thing and one of the process to planting more and more trees, and we conserve forest. Okay, and also the trees. So this is the message of today's poem. Okay, I hope that you have understood it. So we will meet you in the next class. So till then, all of you stay at home, keep learning. Thank you.